All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to class. This is again J560, Managing Online Public Relations, and we're here to talk about new media and PR. And tonight we're specifically talking exactly new media and PR. And we've talked different aspects. We've talked different platforms. Now you guys have done web videos. You've been researching. You've been reading all about the new media. But again, we're communicators at its core, and you still have to know about the traditional media. So. Let's see here. Yeah, it's like a blend. I'm sorry, I was sitting here looking at my notes, trying to get my mind wrapped around it. But yeah, like I said, it's it's a symbiotic blend. There are times when you just use your traditional media. There are times when you just use your new media or social media. But I'll tell you, I've seen some great results with putting them together, and you do reach a wider audience. But again, you have to be strategic about these things. So. For you guys that are here, let me ask you: have you ever done any type of mixing? Have you ever started a Facebook page or done anything with social media or new media in with like traditional PR type of stuff or writing communications? No, cool.
Not really. I set up a page for this podcast that I tried to get off the ground a couple years ago. So I set up a Facebook page for that and tried to get a bunch of followers, but it ultimately didn't pan out. But that's the closest I have to experience with it.
Okay, right on. Right on. Nothing for you either, Thomas?
Yeah, actually, I've had a lot of experience blending traditional and non-traditional. Especially a lot of my PR background is in nonprofit, and with lack of funding, it's nice to have social media to rely on.
Sure.
But I would say more often than not, I tend to use social media as a supplement to traditional PR tactics.
Okay.
Example would be, let's say you're having an annual event as a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization. You can use that social media as a supplement to that traditional tactic to raise hype about it, raise awareness, to kind of, it's a way to inform, but it's also a way to engage. So
yeah. Awesome. I love to hear that. A way to inform and a way to engage. Yeah, because I mean, you have your messages that you push out, and it's just, because let's say, just like you're saying, you had your event, so you got to talk about, here's the logistics, maybe here's a silent auction, here's this or that, but then also, hey, what are you excited about? Who are you excited to see, or this or that?
So. Absolutely. It's a great way to kind of do like a pre-event audit, and then kind of even do, a post-event audit. Social media is great for that too, especially if you're going to, have an annual event. Social media will allow you to get that feedback that you need, before and after to change some things that you do in your traditional PR roles.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Right on. You got it. You got it. So I figured I'd go from here and give you guys a couple of examples of some things that I've done. And we'll go through them quickly, things like that. But the first one, speaking of nonprofits, is I used to work for the American Cancer Society, and I was a community representative. So basically, I did fundraising and helped run the Relay for Life, if you've ever heard of those, the 24-hour cancer walks, things like that within communities of Indianapolis. I had Pike Township, Franklin Township, and the Beech Grove area. So, those were my areas within Indianapolis, and we had just started using a Facebook group when with people that I wanted to communicate with. It was my events were run by volunteers. I was a paid staff member from American Cancer Society, but then, I had a group of 20 to 40 volunteers at each location helping me run these events and get everything going and get the fundraising off the ground and things like that. So, we did start to use the group. I mean, and it was great, man, just for discussions and just for keeping. We had never been able to communicate like that. But the other thing that we used was the website, and some people consider, websites not new media, but they are new media. They're kind of like in between. Here's traditional, here's new media, and then here was websites in like the early 90s to mid 90s when they just exploded and boomed out there. So, we use a website, and again, this was 2009, 2010, 2008, 2008, 2009, 2010, that we were doing these things. But again, I could push out messages with a website to everybody that was associated with my Relay for Life, all the people that were actually just signed up to do it, also, or if I just wanted to send my committee messages, and so it was great. We used that at first, and then I was like, oh yeah, they got this Facebook thing that everybody was kind of on, and we're like, let's use that. So that was one of my first instances with kind of blending it. And I had done it a little bit before that, but I kind of switched roles from being in PR and went to the nonprofit sector for about 3 or 4 years. So after that, I left the American Cancer Society and started my own podcast and television show in Indianapolis called Do It Indy, which again still goes on right now. They're not on TV anymore, but they've switched to radio format. So you should check them out. DoItIndy.com. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and they have a thing now called the Do It Indy Radio Hour. But basically, I was all about the city of Indianapolis. I love Indianapolis. I think it's fantastic. Michael, don't you do some stuff with comedy sports?
Indie Prov.
Or Indie Prov, yeah. I actually, Indie Prov and comedy sports, yeah, buddy. I have one of those T-shirts.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I used to mention you guys in my show and things like that. I mean, I loved it. It was great. Actually, the comedy sports Indie Prov mashup, you guys, the first one you guys did, what was that? 2011, 2012, something like that. I forget.
Laugh-a-thon?
Was it maybe I don't think it was that, but it was a normal day. You guys came together, but like, man, that was like my #1 event of the week, and I actually came to it, and I did a video. If you go to Do It Indie on YouTube, you can see some of the stuff.
Okay.
But I really, with the show, it was meant to just be a traditional media type of show. It was meant to just be, I wanted it to be a video cast, Facebook, and Twitter, and that was it. And it really just kind of like everything else does, it took a life of its own. And it really just kind of went out there and went nuts and went crazy. And so I was leveraging the power of social media, but then I was also using new media, and with the television format, they're using radio now. And then we also did a few things with Nuvo back in the day and things like that. So, it was a good synergy blend. And again, I hit it with your old school marketing and PR. We had a couple big parties, and we had some parties with what you call Indie Fringe, the theater company, during the Indie Fringe Festival and things like that too. And we would just pass out flyers and put things up in businesses all around downtown and stuff like that. So, that was one of my first successes. And again, who was my demographic? People may ask that. How was it working? And again, it took me a long time to really figure out who I was really targeting with Do It Indie. I mean, I knew I wanted rural people. I knew I wanted urbanites that loved the inner city, and I really didn't care if they were young or old. But yes, we did promote a lot of 21 and older events and things like that. So after a little while, we kind of figured out that our target audience was like 25 to like 50. Okay, because we were some 30-year-old guys, 33, 34 at the time, and we were trying to get this going off the ground. So once we figured out our target audience, yeah, there you go. We had our blend of our traditional stuff that we were doing along with our social and new media. It's fun. But that's Do It Indie. So let's take it to a national level. And man, this one company that I absolutely love, I love McDonald's. Okay, I like fast food. I love McDonald's, Coca-Cola, things like that. I'm a chubby guy, all right? But I'll tell you, McDonald's does a great job, an absolutely great job of leveraging new media with traditional media. And when they've done this a few times, they've actually had some really misses. They've had some really good hits and some really bad misses, okay? You guys know the one that they just got done with on Valentine's Day in February. And you would go in and they'd ask you to do something or send a tweet or call your mom, this, that, and it went remarkably good. One that went remarkably bad was 3-4 years ago now, and it was My McD Story. They wanted people to tell their Mickey D stories, and I always love to mention it in class, and it just completely bombed on them. People started talking about bad stuff. Oh man, Mickey D's made me sick. Oh man, my McD story is McDonald's is gross. Things like that. So they've had some good and some bad. But along with their social and their new media, McDonald's is one of, they have the money. They're always on television. You see their ads, and not necessarily in newspapers anymore. You still see McDonald's ads in magazines and things like that, some specialty stuff. You see billboards.
They can afford it.
What's that?
I said they can still afford it.
Oh yeah, they have the
Hmm.
marketing budget for sure. But they just do a good job. And as much as people are hating on McDonald's, the one of their good successes that they're having right now, leveraging the new media with the traditional or the old, is they're wanting to get they're wanting to be more healthy. They're coming out with more, the salads. This is good for you. You can have milk now. Kids can have apples and Happy Meals, and there really are. You can have water, bottled water. So I don't know how good it really is for you, to be honest. It is McDonald's. I mean, they just have this illustrious, just that's who they are. They're junk fast food. Everybody thinks that, but it's kind of working. They made a couple videos recently. What's in a chicken nugget? I don't know if you guys have seen that, and it went national and worldwide actually. And people on television and this and that were talking about it. And it was a simple video. What's inside a nugget? It is kind of like pink goo, but it is real meat. It's just ground up and stuff like that. So it's working. But again, that's one of my national ones. So I need to take another drink. Anybody got any questions or anything right now? Cool. I'm just walking, like running through this, you guys. There's only 3 of us on here today anyway. So, but the examples I want to give you now are some things that I've done personally with Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospital, where I work in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Nala, hush, babe. Dog's going crazy. Sorry. And at Mary Free Bed, we've done several campaigns in the 2 years that I've been here now, really leveraging the power of traditional media with the power of new media. And yes, we're a rehabilitation hospital. So our demographic, flat out, are females aged 35 to 60. Probably even you could go about 35 to 65 would be our core demographic. Females make the choices with healthcare. They're the ones in the families that make people get medical attention or usually make those decisions. So the first one I'm going to talk about is we started a new cancer program. Okay, it's rehabilitation for cancer. Cancer sucks, and a lot of times, I mean, I have not had cancer. My mother's had cancer twice. I've lost a grandparent. I mean, cancer just affects everybody. It's a horrible disease. So if you make it through it, a lot of times you're run down. You're hurting, you're struggling, and you need a little bit of help. You need some rehabilitation to get you back to that normal life that you had. So at Mary Free Bed, we started the Betty Bloomer Ford Cancer Rehabilitation Center. And Betty Bloomer Ford, Gerald Ford, who was the president, was from Grand Rapids, and Betty Bloomer Ford, you've heard of she's all about breast cancer and things like that. Betty Bloomer Ford in the late 70s was one of the first females, and females of stature, because she had a lot of pull and weight being a first lady, to come out and talk about, hey, I have breast cancer, I have a mastectomy, things like that. So what we did was we used some old school imagery of the First Lady, actually her official portrait that she had when she was First Lady in the White House. And we had billboards, we had some web videos, we had television commercials. So I was trying to mix, really getting it, and obviously I had blog posts and I had strategic social media posts, all of this stuff to go out, in conjunction along with I knew that all of my, to hit my demographic, all of my television commercials were airing during newscasts. We bought time during the morning newscast and during the evening newscast on the most prominent station, which is Wood TV 8, up here in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. So, and then again, we had other commercials, like some fun commercials, some fun web videos of, just her and some breast cancer stats and things like that. So it was really cool. And the main commercial, the one that showed on the television, and I shared it away several times, was Betty Bloomer Ford after she had went through her cancer bout and she beat her breast cancer. She actually was talking at an American Cancer Society event, and I got some video. It was old shaky 8mm stuff, but we got some video of her actually talking about her experience, and that was what I used as the as the meat of the commercial. This and that. She was talking about how she knew she needed help, and she knew that cancer was horrible, and she needed to be preemptive, and and get help early on and stuff. So it was really powerful, and anybody that's done that, and again, my mom has had breast cancer. It's powerful stuff, and it hits you, just to hear that, and people were clapping and going for her and all that. So there's my first example of how I've used that here at Mary Free Bed, and I got one more I'll tell you here after I take a sip of my water. Delicious and nutritious, right? I drink too much Coke as it is. I love Coca-Cola. Gotta drink more water. That's what my wife tells me. So my next example is a year ago with our holiday campaign. At Mary Free Bed, we always do some type of a holiday campaign to, just everybody's happy, some goodwill, and things like that. So a year ago was the 30th, and I've mentioned this once already in class, was the 30th anniversary of A Christmas Story. The one with the little boy and the Red Ryder BB gun. You're going to shoot your eye out, kid. And one of the most famous things, you guys know what was the lamp in that? It was a leg lamp. You guys know what I'm talking about? The leg lamp with A Christmas Story. All right. So it was the 30th anniversary of this movie, and I thought, it was our videographer and I were sitting there talking one day. And we're like, what if it would be a prosthetic leg lamp? And we did just that. We made a prosthetic leg lamp, and we centered an entire campaign around this. Okay, I mean, it was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun. We actually made elf costumes, and our actual video, our commercial, and our web videos were elves in our orthotics and prosthetics lab making devices and this and that, and then they make a leg lamp and things. So it was a goodwill holiday, fun commercial, but then also it had that feel where, hey, Mary Free Bed has an orthotics and prosthetics department that can make anything for you. So again, along with this, we had the television commercials, I had a series of blogs, I had a series of web videos. This actually is the most in-depth campaign that I've ever done, and it was an amazing success. We did some digital electronic advertising with that, and then we did some select ads within the Grand Rapids Press, which is the newspaper here in the city. And we did, I actually had to think about this, we took out some one-out ads in some, to hit the demographic, and I think it was the Grand Rapids Civic Theater or the Grand Rapids Ballet and their playbills that they had, because we thought, hey, everybody's going, to see the Christmas shows, the Christmas programs. That's our demographic right there. So again, it was fun. It was a lot of hard work, but I really felt like here's your traditional media, here's your new media, and they just really, really swirled around each other. If you guys go to the YouTube page of Mary Free Bed, if you just go to YouTube and type in Mary Free Bed, you'll find these elf commercials and things like that. On Pinterest, I like pinned pictures of the leg lamp. We had an artist draw one up, and then we made our own. And I'll tell you, one of my most repinned pins on the Mary Free Bed Pinterest page is this stinking leg lamp. It's crazy. It's the power of social media. You never know what people are just going to latch on to. So after all was said and done, yes, it helped boost. Our cancer program got a great boost from our dual campaign with Betty Bloomer Ford. And then our orthotics and prosthetics department, who had been needing a little bit of financial help, that's actually why we kind of focused on this. It went from in the red kind of up into the black, the months following the campaign with that. So those are two success stories that I have with Mary Free Bed that a lot of fun. The reason is, again, we're not there yet. There's still, newspapers, magazines, all your print media is in record decline. Radio ads, too, are in record decline, including television ads, but all your electronic stuff is boosting up. We're not there yet. There's still the traditional media, and I really think, I was having discussions with some colleagues about this the other day, at least for another decade, because you have your baby boomers. We have to get the baby boomers through, and then I think once the baby boomers get through, this whole blend thing is going to take on a whole new world. And I don't even know if it's going to be more of a blend or if it's just going to be more like electronic media. And right down here is your little segment of traditional media, just to hit the the latecomers and things like that haven't got on it. But I mean, already it's known fact that electronic media and people age 40 and under electronic media is much more effective at reaching them. You know, and I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 in December. You know, than reaching traditional media. But yeah, I still do watch TV. I still do like to read a paper here and there. But again, it's all about your generations. Millennials don't even want to read anything anymore. All you got to get it. That's why Instagram. You know, give them a Vine 7-second or a 15-second Instagram video. So there you go. You know, wherever you guys might be working, wherever you're doing it, you know, in the communication realm, in the PR realm, you're really going to have that mix. And I talked a lot longer than I thought I would. Woo! All right, got to take a drink. Any questions? Anyone? What do you guys think? You think it's cool? I mean, do you think it's difficult to, you know, blend the two of them together? Yeah, no. Cool.
I think it all depends on themes. The hardest thing that
like what it is, not your product.
Well, are you speaking like regards to blending traditional and non-traditional?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, definitely. It's for me the hardest part has all been thematic. You want the theme to carry across all the channels that you're using. So when you're designing for print, you kind of want it to look like what you're designing for your social media, but you kind of have a different way of going about it, things like that. So, I mean, those are some of the problems I've come across with blending the two together so far. But it definitely gets easier over time the longer that you work with it.
Sure, you broke up a little bit there, Thomas. I'm sorry to tell you that. Did you guys hear him break up too?
Sounded okay on mine.
Michael and Marcus?
It sounded fine on mine.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, wow. He broke up on my end, man. I'm using this. But, oh, no, that's cool. Thank you. But, hey, guys, that's it, man. Anybody else has any anecdotes? Thanks for being here tonight. And this Sunday is your last article review, so next week I'll get your article review grades up, things like that. And, again, hey, good job on the web videos. You know, so, again, some of you guys were missing a few things, but I let you know if you were missing that. And, you know, have fun with it. None of them were bad. They all were really good. And again, you know, please share your videos away. Just like I tell you with your blogs, share your blogs out, tweet your blogs out, put them on Facebook. Do the same thing with your web videos. So, all right, guys, that's it. Have a good evening. Thanks.